Hey there, so this is probably going to be a video that I'm either going to redo or edit. I'm just kind of making a footnote here, or just kind of a preparatory video. I don't even know what to call it, really. Just because I had this thought and I want to get it down. So I'm listening to the podcast Stuff You Should Know with Chuck and Josh. If you've never listened to it, you should give it a try. It's pretty interesting. They cover a lot of very interesting topics. And the episode I'm listening to right now is one about this. I would look at it, but I'd have to close my video to look at it. So I'm going to try and do all this from memory. Ideally, I'd have some notes or something. But it's one of the more recent episodes. And it's about this psychologist named Julian Jaynes, I think, who had this theory that consciousness, or consciousness as we know it now or recognize it now, only evolved within the last 1,000 to 2,000 years. And so they go into that in detail. So if you want to find out about that, just go ahead and listen to their episode, because it's pretty interesting. But the thing that I kind of had a connection to another podcast that I listened to a few years ago on Freakanomics about just educational development of kids, and basically, so I'll start with the Julian one, or the stuff you should know. So on there, they're talking about how consciousness is something that has evolved, that possibly thousands of years ago people didn't think the way that we think, and that the brain has since evolved to where they're using the term bicameral mind, and I'm not 100% sure what the definition for that is, but it sounds like the bicameral mind was a more primitive mind, where you may have thoughts, what we would think. So they're describing kind of conscious thought as, you know, you're in a situation and you're having an internal dialogue in your head. You recognize that it's you talking to you, that the thoughts that you're having are your thoughts. And they're saying the bicameral mind, or at least what I'm understanding they're describing it as, is a mind where you have thoughts, but you don't realize they're your own. And so when you hear like an internal voice in your head, you're thinking it's either a god or an ancestor or something else talking to you and giving you direction, right? So, and they're saying, for instance, like kids between the age of 1 to 5, they take things literally, you know. So conscious mind is also using, recognizing metaphors and being able to use metaphors to relate to the world. And so they're saying that little kids, you know, from the age of 1 to 5, they don't really have that ability. And so they take things literally, and they don't recognize sarcasm. And our brains have to grow and evolve, you know, as we get older to that point. And so they're saying that the way our brains have evolved, and the way that they evolve, you know, past the age of 5, may be a new phenomenon. People didn't always have that. Maybe people, you know, pre 1,000, 2,000 years ago, their minds stayed more, I guess for lack of better words, primitive, the way that children's minds are from 1 to 5. You know, maybe adult humans, you know, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago had minds similar to children, where they, like I said, they may hear internal voices, but they don't realize it's theirs. They don't recognize sarcasm. You tell them, you know, a metaphor, and they take it literally. And so the connection that I had to the Freakanomics episode was about, so in this, going back to the Stuff You Should Know podcast, they're talking about how the evolution of our minds probably happened because of the diversity of problems and things that we have to deal with nowadays. Back in the day, you only had so many tasks or things you had to worry about. You didn't have all this technology. You didn't have a million different utensils. You maybe had like one utensil. You had a few tools, and you did your task. You were a farmer. You farmed. You didn't have to deal with as many complex things, and so you didn't have to question as many things, and so you didn't need as much of an internal dialogue. So that was one thing. And then the emergence of the written language. Even back in times when there, hundreds, thousands of years ago, when there was written language, not everybody could even read. So maybe different groups of people, different bloodlines evolved faster than others to gain that internal dialogue. So they're saying those two things may have helped our brains to evolve to have to deal with more complex tasks, more diversity in life. Just like as we get older, when we're young, we don't have as many things to worry about. We're basically just little narcissists running around, and we don't recognize that other people don't think the exact same as we do when we're young, right? We have to learn that. And so they're hitting on how language and the written language may have a lot to do with our overall evolution as a species, to get past the bicameral mind and have more of a quote-unquote conscious mind, when we're older and more intelligent. So what that made me think of is, in the Freakanomics episode I was listening to, it was on studies they've done on early childhood development and IQ later in life. And one of the studies they did found out that the more words that children hear or read, well, not really read because you're too young to read, but the more words children are exposed to on a daily basis while they're growing up, they found that can increase their IQ or their brain development for later in life. And I can't remember all the specifics of it. I can't remember the episode either. Something I might have to dig up later. But yeah, so that kind of supports, in a way, this theory that Chuck and Josh are digging into. This, I can't even remember the name. Janes, Dr. Janes, maybe. I don't even know if they're really a doctor or psychologist or whatever. But that it sounds very similar, when they're saying, okay, our brains evolved when we're young, our brains evolved from 1 to 5, as a species, as language was introduced, they may have evolved. So it kind of supports the studies that Freakonomics hit on, that found that, our IQ or our brains develop faster with the more words we're exposed to. Very, very similar to the overall evolutional theory that Chuck and Josh are talking about. Anyways, maybe I will follow this up with, or maybe I will do a follow-up video or add on to this, not really sure. Or maybe I'll just post it, who knows, because otherwise it just may never get posted if I sit on it too long. But anyways, thought that was very interesting. Let me know what you guys think, or if you listen to either of these podcasts, or if you have listened to these episodes before and know what I'm talking about and have anything to add. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It would help out for sure, because I would like to make more videos. Intending to just kind of make videos while I'm on the road and doing other things, because it's just I don't really have as much time just to sit down. I mean, I may have time, but it's just sometimes I'll get a thought and I kind of need to get it out. Otherwise, if I think about it too hard, then I'll be like, oh, well, if I do this and I do it properly, I need to do some more research and have do graphics and all this stuff, which is great and all, but sometimes I just don't get it out because I get stuck on the details. So maybe more of these videos might be appropriate, depending on if the audio is good enough. But anyways, I will post more later. I'll try to do some more on, here I am rambling. I'm just going to stop rambling. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, If what I said makes sense, go listen to these podcasts, the Stuff You Should Know and Freakonomics. I'll try to put in, you know what I'll do? I'll put in the description below the episode, at least the Stuff You Should Know episode that I'm listening to, and I'll try to dig up the Freakonomics episode. That way you guys can listen to them and kind of see if what the correlation I found makes sense, if you agree, if you think there's support there, or I mean, if you think it's all, you know, crap or whatever, then go ahead and poke holes in it and tell me why, and maybe come up with some alternate solutions or theories or debunking theories or facts that you may have. It's all interesting. It's all all learning, and I appreciate it all. Anyways, have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you later.